Hey everyone, welcome back. Glad you're joining us here today. And by us, I mean me and Lunar Spaceman. It's always a pleasure to bring you these cool toys. And as always, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. That's also greatly appreciated. And this is my second back pain video as I'm recuperating. You know, when last time I threw out my back was like 7 years ago, and I never read really, they say ice at first for a few days and then heat. I went straight to heat. No wonder I screwed it up even more, but that's okay. I'm still here and making these videos, and unfortunately, this guy is probably not going to work. But I thought the story was good enough to make a video on, because first off, I've always admired this spaceman, and for whatever reason, you know, sometimes you just procrastinate on getting a certain thing. But I've always loved the look of the face. I like the box art on this guy. And this is a plastic Hong Kong toy, by the way. But just something about his face is very, almost reminds me of Galactus from Marvel. Just the face. If you put that weird Galactus helmet on him, that I think the face would kind of look like that. And it's just cool box art, being that it is a Hong Kong toy. And it has these features here: the automatic doors, the stop and go, 2 shooting, and all that stuff is there. And side panels are the same. The end panel basically like this. So it's a cool box. Has nice illustrations. It didn't get cheap now yet. And for plastic and more, let's say, cheaply made, it still has a really nice design. They have like these cool rivets on top of that shroud surrounding the neck area, and even like the little gear details here. You got these like Martian, like Horikawa attacking Martian type gels. He's just a cool piece. So here's the battery door, by the way. And I think green is a more uncommon version of this, you know, toy also. And what's funny is this is the original box, and on the back they put silver. So somebody boxed it incorrectly. And I've seen the red too, but I think green is one of the more unusual colors. Anyway, so the seller of this toy, what made me want to bring the video is, you hear a lot of BS on eBay, because I got this off of eBay. And this guy went into great length to explain how this toy is so fragile, they don't survive. And I said, well, you know what? The price was good. I think it was around $400, which for the green version is pretty cheap, actually. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And they gave me the story. Well, I can't open the battery compartment, so I can't test it. How many times have you heard that? You know what I'm talking about. If you buy at these auctions, people are like, oh, untested. Like they can't just stick 2 batteries in, right? So when this toy came, first of all, like for a guy that wrote a giant paragraph about how fragile this toy is, this is the box it came in, and, well, let me move it over here. I just want to give you, for comparison's sake, well, I'll do it this way, all right? Okay, that may look like a lot, but trust me when I tell you, the top of the box is just barely above my finger. This thing was in there so tight sideways with very little packing, and this bit of crushing here, I said, oh man, I'm done. You know, I was expecting it to be broken. And I said to myself, man, for a guy that wrote all that about the fragility of the toy, you'd think he would have like used that as a double box maybe. But all right, whatever, he didn't, and that's okay. But then, you know, when I saw I went back and looked at the listing and realized he said about the batteries. He said he couldn't get the battery doors open. And so I checked, and it felt a little heavy. So the battery doors do open by squeezing this gently, right? And then they just pop off like that. So I'm not even going to take it out. And when I did that, right, what do you think I found in there? I found these batteries that expired in 2011, 10 years ago. And you know, when you buy batteries, most people, like when they sold this, it probably was like, say, 2005 or even 2004, and they'll put like a date, an expiration date, many, many years in the future. Like I have a lot of batteries now that say expire 2028, like, I mean, you know, the shelf life. So they did have these, so he legit was not able to open the battery compartment. And I can't believe these things didn't just leak. I know these are better made than the early batteries, but still, 10 years expired. You'd think these things would have blown up, but no, the battery compartment was clean. So anyway, that's the kind of interesting story about this. And you know, the toy, I put these batteries in. If I hit the slide switch here, which is right here, he kind of, you see the headlights up, which is actually very cool. Almost has that. But the motor worked a little bit, and what happened is the doors here got stuck open because this thing started firing, and both guns lit up like they should, this here. And then I couldn't get this closed. So I actually gently pushed it in just to get it to close. And, you know, it might be a job for the robot hut. These things are such a pain, I'm sure, plastic. Nobody likes to deal with them. But this one doesn't seem terrible to, you know, undo because you got the seam here. That if they glued it, it might not be worth it. But, you know, I think you can slice into it. And I may get him to do a little bit of action. Let me turn this off before I burn out the bulb in the face. But, you know, so again, it was a kind of an interesting story to see that despite the fact it was described as all very fragile, it was like a pretty poor packing job with very little protection, and yet it survived. And then the story as far as the batteries checked out. So anyway, that's the tale of my first Hong Kong Lunar Spaceman. I'll ask you this before I sign off. Would you send this off now to get repaired? Is it worth it? Or would you leave it as be? It kind of did peter on and off a few times, so very inconsistently, though. I don't know. If enough of you respond and say, hey, do it or don't do it, then maybe I'll see if the Robot Hut's willing to tinker with it, and we'll show it working. In the meantime, thanks as always for joining me. Appreciate your time, and don't forget to thumb up the video. And with that, I will talk to you later.